And you're live.
Okay, great. So, welcome to the live session of the Creemore Station on the Green board meeting. And what I'd like to do first is we need to approve the agenda again, do we?
Yep. Yes.
Yes. So, with that, can I get somebody to approve the agenda? Debbie and Pear? Thank you. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you all. Disclosure of disqualifying pecuniary interests, and if anybody has those interests, can you say, and not being the case, then let's move on. Approval of the previous minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read those minutes? And okay, good. Debbie, yes?
Oh, you asked for approval.
No, no. So yeah. No, I was asking if everybody had a chance to read them. So if with that, then yeah. So with approval, Debbie, I gather then you approve. And any seconder?
I will.
Linda, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's people that have read the minutes, I think, have to pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I read them.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. And all in favor?
We were there.
Perfect. Perfect. So business arising from those minutes. Um, First item, storage wall or storage room wall.
Oh, let's not worry about that one.
Okay, so yeah, we do. I guess um, have we documented that one at this point? Okay, yeah. Okay, Pear.
I think in closed session, we agreed that we would consult with Terry Vachon as to what
Oh,
should.
yeah. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, that's dealt with through our
Closed session.
closed session, which preceded this particular section, and from which we generated a security subcommittee, and they'll be reporting back to the board over the next week, 4 weeks. Okay, thank you. Website update. Perhaps I could speak to that one. This is a committee made up of Linda, Debbie, and Patty, and working with our vendor, Kathy Weber, who is the website designer. We had a meeting last week, Monday, and she provided us some framework within which to create some documentation and narrative for the website. So we selected one of the particular views of how that website would come, and I think you'll find it to be very, very interesting. Now we're just working on the words around each of when you think of there's the home site, and then there's the various tabs that you can push, and each of those needs some kind of description. Long extensive paragraphs are not apparently well regarded. People want to see boom, boom, boom bullets or something. So that's what we're working on to try and make it interesting. But there's things that we want to put in there, like the history of the thing. That could be a text separate in one of the tabs. So yeah, it's moving. It's moving along. I think everybody's pretty happy with Kathy as the person facilitating and doing the job. So I'm really happy about that too. Draft wish list. Brian, next on the agenda.
I don't know if everybody got to see the updated wish list from the original package Sarah sent out. But Debbie sent some additional items, and I've included it on that expenditure wish list. So they're not in any particular order. They're just bullets. And one of them is, of course, build the wall in the storage room. Second, clean and paint the eaves of the station building. Third, pay the remainder of the CCTV cost. Upgrade both washrooms. Apparently, they're looking quite shabby, and they need to be brought up to date, I think. Also, Debbie has said we need new blinds. There's been a number of complaints about the blinds from renters. They're not happy with their appearance. So that's something we need to look at. I'm not quite sure which wall panel needs fixing. Debbie's indicated there is a wall panel that needs fixing. Has also suggested we need a larger fridge in the kitchen, and that the kitchen needs to be upgraded to modernize. That's an item that I think we've known about for years. It's the kitchen we have, and it from what I understand, it doesn't work all that well for people wanting to use it. So that's something that needs to be done. And then other is any other item that comes up, or other items that you have in mind right now. But all of these, I think we're going to need to prioritize them, and we're going to look at what the cost would be. And then we're going to have to develop a plan to address these, because obviously we cannot address all of them. We are probably going to struggle to address one or two of them right now, given the state of the bank account. So we do need a long-term plan and address these. And also, I think things that are not needing maintenance right now or work on, but will maybe in a year or two down the road, we have to keep that in mind and set aside money for those kinds of items.
Yeah. Good. Very good, Brian. Thank you. Linda.
One thing I'd like to suggest, Debbie has told me that we've even lost a renter because of the blinds, because they look so bad. And when I'm looking at this, I mean, everything here needs to be taken care of, but new blinds would be a reasonably inexpensive thing to deal with. But if they have actually caused us to lose a renter, then it seems to me that would be something that we should get onto quite quickly and deal with. And as for the rest of them, I mean, we've been talking about cleaning and painting the exterior of the station, the eaves. We've got to, like, most of these things need to be done, very much so, upgrading the washrooms, things like that. But the new blinds seem to me to be something that wouldn't be hugely expensive, but we could get on right away.
Okay, we need to get an estimate of that then.
Yeah,
So,
I think we should. And I don't even know where those blinds came from originally.
okay, so would Linda, would you care to, because each of these items needs to be quantified, right? We need to take a look at the item, get an estimate, and then that becomes put into the priority list. So,
All right, well, I will look into, or I have absolutely, does anybody know where those blinds originally came from?
no, I think not.
Okay, because they are, as I said, if they've caused us to lose even one renter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It depends who that renter was. That's interesting that they would. So it makes.
What was it for, Debbie?
Debbie's on mute. Are you
You're
talking?
muted, Debbie. Unmute yourself.
You're muted, Debbie.
It was for a wedding, and they weren't happy with the blinds because they're out of the tracks, they're broken, half the tracks are missing, whatever. And the second one was Joyce Dobinson, who rented it. She was the one who commented on the dirty windows in the first place before we cleaned them. And when they got in there and she saw the shape of the blind, she's passing it on to people outside. Like she told Darcy Q, she didn't tell me. And Darcy contacted me and said, Debbie, got to do something about the blinds because this woman will tell everybody in Creemore. So
Okay, thank you. That's great. We get it. Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, that certainly that is a lost opportunity, and we can put that down as the offset to that particular cost that I think Linda's going to orchestrate the.
Gonna try.
Yeah, good for you. Thank you. And Brian has a question.
Linda, I can email Paul Rupel and ask if he has a recollection of who did the blinds, because he was there, I think, when the building was built.
Yes, he definitely was.
they were paid for through a Trillium grant, and I have that information. It may even tell me who they actually bought them from.
Oh, good.
Right
Look
there.
into it and see if you can tell me.
Right after the meeting.
All right, thank you.
Debbie, let me know if you're not able to find that. I'll email Paul Rupel. Otherwise, if you do, I don't need to.
Great.
Can we see that list again, Brian? I didn't print that out personally, but the first one I would like to just whoops, what happened here? So the one thing that I'd like to suggest is where we've got the painting at the station. I wonder if we could put the entire exterior. That'd be my suggestion. Because I was looking at it just the other day, and it's an absolute it's fading, and I think I had heard comments, and this is kind of disturbing, but it's looking pretty bad. Those are third-party comments and I think so item number 2 would be clean and paint entire station. That's my I'd like to add that to the wish list.
All right, and I would agree with that, Jeremy.
I agree with that, except I don't think it should happen before the construction's done because
Well, Debbie, that could be 10 years.
all the dirt's going to get on the paint.
No, I understand. Nor will it happen before they open. Right?
They are opening August 20th, but I've heard that they'll be shutting down again for more construction in September and October.
Okay. All right. So, and I think that's a partnership question that we may want to share with the Village Green about the costs associated. But we can deal with that when we get to the costing and priority of that particular point. Okay, Linda?
Per, did Per not look at, wasn't there a Mr. Rocky? And
Yeah.
didn't he, does he still do this sort of thing?
Yes, he does. He's done painting for me.
And I remember Per,
Ventriloquist.
pardon? Yeah.
Did speak to Don Rocky recently, who said he was not interested, but then I spoke to him again a few days ago, and he said he may be interested in doing it in the fall. And just a quick note, Jeremy, to your comment about doing the whole exterior, I was advised that the building itself, the board and batten, that is, represents only 10% of the work. It is really the eaves that require.
Okay. No, that's right. No, so I'm speaking of the entire building, Per. All.
So I'm in agreement with you that a total refresh should be done at the same time.
Yes, that would be it.
But my suggestion is that if you have a relationship with Mr. Rocky, could you find out a cost for us to do this?
We already have a quote from him.
Oh, okay,
For
Great.
the entire exterior?
Correct.
Yeah, it was about 2,000 and change. It wasn't bad.
no, not bad at all.
What?
If I'm relying on my memory.
Okay.
And we would have to ask him to update it. If somebody could produce it and maybe send me a copy of it, I'll address it with him.
Perfect. And then, the objective would be sort of in the fall timeframe, October, September, October, then. Um, and thank you. Brian, you had a question.
Just a reminder that this is a wish list and we do have to cost things out. $2,000 to paint the whole station sounds like a bargain to me.
Yep.
I thought it would be much more,
Yeah.
but a number of, again, it all comes down to costing, and that's why we probably should get all of these items costed so that we have a better picture of what we're looking at, and then we can come up with a long-term plan to address everything.
Yes, exactly. So I think everybody gets the essence now that just thinking of an idea is one thing, but it needs to come with an accompanying cost with an estimate, and then it can hit the list. Is that fair to say then, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Tom?
Well, I seem to remember that the estimate for painting was like $10,000.
Yeah, I think it is. It's
Oh,
yeah, it's big. Yeah, so yeah,
I think,
that's why I say too that it's maybe something that we could share with other parties that have an interest in the building, community groups. But we're doing fundraisers, so that's what all this money is for, and we could maybe one of the fundraisers could be with the view to refreshing or repainting the building or something. So anyway, Per, yeah, go ahead.
So similar to the previous item, which we referred to Terry Vachon, I would call this something that would fall under his auspices, as it is the preservation of an asset which belongs to the township. And I would approach him for the money.
Yeah, we can certainly, that's what I say. There's a number of interested parties that we need to deal with. So the township certainly being one. I think our partner to the east, or to the west rather, the partner that we could discuss about deterioration of how what we've seen. And okay, so yeah, each will have to become its own little business case, right? And I think, Linda, your thought on blinds being cheap, I think you're going to get surprised there. Nothing today seems to be cheap. So anyway, yes, Linda, go ahead.
my suggestion is with this list, each one of these things needs pricing.
Yeah,
Like if I'm going to look into blinds and Per is going to look into the painting and maybe talk to Terry Vachon, can somebody take on things like, how much would a larger fridge cost us? Could somebody please find a price for us?
Okay, just a
And
sec.
what do we mean by kitchen upgrade to modernize?
Yeah.
So we've got something, we need something that is, we can look at, know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, sorry, Linda. I had just said that earlier, and I said that nothing should go on this list until it's been costed, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Who'll do the costing. We
Yeah.
need somebody from the board to take on each one or
No,
each
no,
one.
no. I think it's the person who wants to push the item needs to get it support. We need somebody, an owner of the particular requirement, and that owner would need to just say, okay, we need a commercial fridge. They're about $3,000, and here's the brochure on it. And then it can go to the list, right? Does that seem reasonable? And each other item like that. Yeah, Per, go ahead.
So I think items that are on Brian's wish list are items that we need to deal with and come up with solutions for.
Yes.
But I think items like painting and maintenance are items that belong with the township clearly, and we should simply defer to Terry Vachon. We can provide the estimate
Yeah.
for the cost, and if he does that, so be it. But it's something that needs to be done. It's not a wish list. It's a maintenance item.
Mm-hmm. Okay, within our mandate, one of the items is to maintain the building, and that's what we have to do. So it's our responsibility. And if we need to get funding, then we can go to the Clearview on it. So I think it falls upon us to get the estimate. We can share that with them and say, what portion of this can you take other than the first half, and just work like that. So how does that seem then? If we just, anybody who wants to push forward a wish would then come forward with a costed proposal, like another urgency and cost. Does that seem reasonable?
Yes.
Brian? Can we simplify this? We don't need an actual quote. We just need sort of a general idea of the costing. Like in terms of a larger fridge, we certainly just go online and see what fridges cost. What's an IKEA kitchen look like? What would that cost? Kind of a thing. I don't know which wall panel, Debbie, you're referring to. Is this those sliding walls?
Yes.
They were just repaired not that long ago.
It was several years, Brian. I know it seems like just not long, but it was at least 3 years ago. And that company is rare. The ones that came up to repair it, and it took us a long time to get it. And I don't mind taking that on again because I have the contacts. It's hard to get them involved. But I'd be prepared to do that if you.
Okay.
I think that's not a wish list. That's
A priority.
it's like the door won't shut, so
Yeah.
we should fix it.
And
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that is a priority.
all right. And Costco, you can get blinds costed through Costco because they have a service that does that. Same with the fridge, etc. I think all we need is like an idea of the costing. It doesn't have to be an exact quote. And then we can take a look at this and then work out some kind of plan for paying for this over time and where the money's going to come from.
I also have a number for blinds. The lady comes and measures from Barrie, and I did this whole routine when I was doing renovations to my house, and she was the fairest cost. And they do everything, measure, and then come and install them. And there's a warranty on it. And I'll give you the number for that, Linda. You can set it up for her coming at your convenience.
Please send me that information, Patty. Thank you.
I'll send you that.
So for the minutes then, do we need a motion on this that we are how we're going to proceed with creating this wish list and what the requirements are, or can we just document it that this as an outcome of our discussion, we're going to create a costed proposal list prioritized for urgency?
I think that's fair. And then when the time comes that there's any action to it, then a motion would be appropriate.
Okay, perfect.
Fair.
Thank you.
Can we have that on the agenda for next meeting?
I think this wish list will be the constant. Good, great. So financial report. Thank you, Brian.
Right, so for the month of June, while we had a income of over $5,000, we had expenses of over $6,000, so we had an actual net income of minus $1,593.45. However, our closing June 30th balance is $7,605.43. Our current balance, unreconciled from my records, so I cannot see the bank balance, is $6,822.50. Now, I would assume that there will be rental money coming in July. And there will be the EPCOR credit again in July. The EPCOR credit has been quite large for the last number of months, which is good. And I'm looking at June's rental totals. And if every month from this point on continues the way June was, over the next 12 months, we're going to be bringing in over $44,000 in rentals, which is a record for the station, by the way. We average usually between 30 to 34 in the past, and totally based on June. It's 1 month, but if this carries on into the future, our rental income will be back and maybe larger than it's ever been. So that's the good news. And the other good news is that we're in the black and we have money.
Yeah.
And kudos to our manager.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you to our manager.
Yeah, thank you. So, thank you, Brian. Any questions for Brian? Comments? None?
Does this mean we could go for a commercial grade refrigerator?
I'm working on that, Patty.
I just got an email from an appliance company that has every kind of appliance. So I'll take that pricing on for a new fridge and submit that for the next meeting, but it's 40% off for a temporary time. I can't guarantee that the prices will stay the same, but I have an idea.
But we have to be careful of size.
Yeah, so why don't, can I ask Patty, would you mind just working with, through Debbie on that one? Because I think she took that one on.
Sure, I'll send you the email, Debbie. And you can look on their website because they have every kind of appliance and they carry commercial grade as well.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Excellent. So we're ready to move on then. We need to accept that financial report, I think. So anybody, did I see Debbie move
Yep.
to accept the report? And seconded by
Okay.
Patty. Oh, and all in favor? Great, thank you, George. Perfect. Moving on to item number 7, rental update. Debbie, could you just walk us through that and the 2 items there, which are rental update and small halls festival, please?
Okay, the rental updates, I sent you all the sheet. We did $3,279.10 for June. A lot of those are comeback. They'll be there for most of the summer and for next year. The Creemore Misfits, Farmers Market, and Tai Chi have a year contract with us, so they're going to be there for the next year. We had some extra. Chez Michelle rented it for a party. Yeah, there's some good rentals there and a lot of comeback people. That's a good thing. For the Small House Festival, everything's, yeah.
Thank you, yeah, thank you.
In there.
Could you tell us, for those that aren't familiar, the Misfits, it's, is that why we need this big security system?
Few more Misfits for Jess Tamlin, yeah.
What is it? What are the Creemore Misfits?
Creemore Misfits is Kangoo jumping. It's a bounce fit class.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
For women only, miss.
No,
No, Meg could go too. I don't think they're
Mrs. also.
mandatory.
Sorry, Brian?
Do they pay their rental fees in cash because their checks might bounce?
oh, oh,
I'll tell her that.
oh.
They do.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up too, Brian. So that would lead me to the next question.
I have to leave now. I'm sorry.
Okay, you have to go, Tom? Oh, the dog.
Tom's leaving, Golf King.
Someone's arrived.
Hope that he survives that. So just, I know Pear has to leave also soon, but how's that money being handled now with rentals? Like, are we accepting the transfers and doing the?
We've always accepted e-transfers, and I haven't really had one.
Yeah, but to whom is it? To whom is it being transferred?
To me until
Oh,
recently,
Yeah.
until recently, and the city has set up the
Yeah.
transfer thing to go with Brian, and I haven't had any transfer since that was started.
Good.
You haven't, okay. Yeah, I think that's critical that we get that managed and control. And what about cash? Anybody paying cash?
Oh yeah, lots of people pay cash.
How do you deal with that?
Comes to me and I give it to Brian. Along with the contract.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Pear?
So I hate to foist work on anybody, but could we not consult and use Patty's expert experience in booking for her business so that we could maybe take advantage of that for the station as well, such as taking credit cards, such as taking a certain amount, like $500 for damage deposit, not return of key or whatever, but to use the wide experience that Patty has in this.
Well, I've offered many years now, and it seems that there's a disconnect between the way that the bank will receive money from our organization and the way that I do it. I've actually just ordered a new swipe, which will take pins for chip cards, and it's all done through Square and PayPal. But for some reason, the people that are doing the books can't make that jive with the system.
Ours all goes through the township. We have
That's where-
control over it. I give it to Brian. Brian deposits it to our account. The problem being that most people don't deal in checks anymore. It's all e-transfer and cash.
Brian?
We do have the capacity to take credit cards. We've had that capacity. The history of it is, though, that in the course of the year, we may process 1 or 2 credit card charges. That was it. Most people were paying cash or by check. And I think now most people use e-transfers. And I know there's a lot of businesses that go e-transfer because they don't get dinged the interest that a credit card dings them.
Right.
So we pay a monthly fee to the bank in order to process credit cards. So that's something I think we're probably going to need to look at, whether it's worth paying that money each month. You'll see it at the top of the financial report. In terms of it's the TDMS charge, that's the TD merchant service charge that enables us to use credit cards. But in terms of the number of credit cards we've ever processed, I've never felt it really justified that amount of money each month. But we've kept it simply because some people might want to use their credit card. And Debbie, has anyone offered to use a credit card when they're renting?
No, they all want e-transfer.
Yeah.
That surprises me, that because in today's world, people go into Foodland or anything for a $2 purchase, credit card, boom, boom, boom. So I wonder why they want to do an e-transfer?
Maybe the amount of money that
What-
they're mostly A lot of people don't have credit cards too. I'm one of them.
Well, I'm going to tell you that what I do for people that want to use credit cards, I take e-transfer. Obviously, it's quite easy because it goes straight to my business account. I agree with Brian. What the banks charge on a monthly basis for something that I too use very rarely. I'll get maybe 5 credit cards in a year from people. So using it on a per need basis and then sending it back to processing as a processing fee. It's 2.6 to 3%, depending on which direction I go. And I charge that back to the customer. So, and that way we recover that here. So that's either PayPal or using a Square.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be the case, right? According to your agreement with the credit card company, that's apparently not an accepted principle or practice
Well, I don't have any agreement with any credit card company. I have an agreement with
with your bank.
PayPal and
Well, that's who I mean.
Square.
Yeah, that's who I mean. That's who I mean.
But I can charge a processing fee. I can charge whatever I want. We could too. I mean,
Well, I think okay, let's leave that. Doesn't matter. Okay, so
you can
thank
charge
you.
whatever you want.
Thank you.
You just add in the fee.
Yeah, I think there's a stipulation in your agreement for using it that it's not intended to be marked up to people. But anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about then. So,
My agreement, how would you know what my agreement is? Number one, and my business is
never mind. It's
different.
okay. It's okay. It's
Well,
okay. Leave
If
it.
you want to put an argument forward, then you should be speaking not on my behalf, assuming that you know what my business is.
Okay, Pear.
Forgive me, Jeremy.
What about the issue? What about the issue of damage deposit? When do we take that? Even if it's a 1-hour rental, there could be subject to damage. Do we take damage deposits?
We do for a bigger event, depending on what the event is, but it's a $500 damage deposit and we take a check, which they won't get back if there's damage. If there's no damage, I just give the check back to them.
Yeah, and again, I take the money up front and it's held in my bank account and I refund it back because it's a check is only as good as a piece of paper it's written on. And I take $3,000 and I've had to recently charge somebody for, destruction that was caused by their children on the property.
I'm just going by what the procedure has been forever, whatever. If you guys want to change it, that's on you. But
Yeah. And for years I've argued that wasn't an adequate damage deposit for the property, especially when you're talking about blinds. Wait till you get a quote for the blinds, right?
Okay, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so do we need to talk about damage deposits? Is that, Brian, is that a point of interest at this point? Is that a concern to you?
The only damage that I can recall was the pizza party in the washroom many, many years ago. I'm not aware of any damage done by renters that was significant. And I could be wrong on that. But I think if it's the larger events, particularly ones maybe that have a liquor license, or it's a large gathering of people. And if we have a $500 damage deposit policy in place, question is, and Patty brought up a good point, maybe the check should be cashed and then refunded back if there's no damage.
Because you could just do a direct deposit on that check, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's is that something you want to institute, or do you want to think about that one and advise us?
Here, I have something to say.
Well, Pear's got his hand up, so.
Yeah. Oh, Pear?
So just a point in case we have that beautiful wooden carving in the entrance lobby where the bottom was knocked off by, I believe, the church. Should damage deposit not apply to that?
Okay.
Except I brought that up at the time and it was decided not even to let the church know about it, that we would fix it. And the church offered to fix it.
I guess I missed that meeting.
Mhm.
I would have been more strict.
I would have too. He offered to fix it. But whatever, I just go by what I'm told.
Yeah, I'd have to recall that whole session, Debbie, because, yeah, that's not my recollection at all. And I'd asked Linda if she could look into, she knows who the artist was that created that board.
Oh, heavens, was
He's
Shane
already
there?
got it.
What, sorry?
Shane's already got the buttress. He's fixing it.
Yeah, Shane's doing the work.
Who is, sorry?
Shane
Durnford.
Durnford, he's the one who created it and he's fixing it.
Perfect. So that's perfect. Then there is, does that help, Per? Does that help? Is he going to charge for that?
Yes, he will.
Patty, can we just keep the points to sort of like a speaking order?
Oh, Jeremy, stop picking on me.
Linda?
Anyway,
Anyway, I'm going to say quite pointedly that we know Shane Durnford is an artisan, and the charge will be probably quite surprisingly substantial if he has to do a repair work.
Then why don't we just go back to the church who said they would do it?
Well, it's actually $300 and Shane is charging for it, $300. He has to sand everything, whatever. And I already have a donor who's paying for that if we aren't.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a non-issue then, Per? That's what I get.
Let's get it done.
Good. Brian?
So the damage deposit, Debbie, would it be, can we have that money deposited to our account and then we can refund when there's no damage? And those occasions when it does call for a damage deposit.
Okay, so for the minutes, then can we probably add that item that's a procedure we need to add into our booking process, please? Patty?
May I pass a motion that we review the damage deposit and the scale, depending on the size of the event? I think that it's important at this time for expenses and the cost to repair things, that the amount that we're collecting right now for, let's say, a wedding with 150 people is not adequate.
Brian, go ahead.
Patty, you have experience in this. Perhaps you could put together a proposal for damage deposit so that we could look at it the next meeting.
Recommendation for damage deposit then? Is that okay with you, Patty? Can you?
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, good. All right, perfect. Thank you. Perfect.
So, sorry, there is a motion on the floor to review the damage deposit and scale and report back to the committee for consideration. So I have Patty as the mover. Was Per the seconder on that?
Yep.
Thank you.
Perfect.
all in favor? Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Small Halls Festival.
Okay, right now we're in the process of getting some high resolution pictures to give to the Amanda, the township, to do the advertising for both our events. Everything's on target. Everything's, Murders Tastefully Executed are coming on August 3rd. to show me how to optimize the setting and give them what they need. And they're going to give me a script at that time and walk me through it. So that's what's happening with them.
Okay, a question, one, for that event itself, we've agreed to have Michelle provide the dinners,
Yes.
Chez Michelle, and what other plans have we got associated with that particular event?
It's tastefully executed. There will be a bar. It's sponsored with the township and Creemore Springs, the winery, the Glen Huron cidery. All that'll be finalized with the township. Brian has to get liquor permits.
Does everybody know this at this point, or does Brian know that he has to get permits?
It was mentioned before.
Now he knows.
No, but what I'm saying, Debbie, can you make a list of like what things need to happen for this event so that we don't miss any points?
Sure.
Yeah, and can you distribute it, please, to the?
Well, actually, I was going to work on getting everybody together for a meeting with it,
Okay.
about it, just to go over all the details, to let you know what's happening, who needs to do what. And I was hoping to do that after August 3rd, when the gentleman actually comes to show me what we need to do.
Okay. Linda.
Who sells the tickets for this? Is this through the Small House Festival group?
It's all the township.
It's all township, okay.
They're all sold on Eventbrite, I believe it is. I believe it's Eventbrite.
And so
Thank you.
what's the price of the ticket?
For Den Needles, it was $40 for the,
Oh, the price of the ticket, sorry, that we're printing the tickets for?
the township looks after all that. The price of the event will be $40 for Dan Needles, $85 for the Murder Mystery Dinner Theater.
But if that's a fundraiser and we pay 55 plus to Michelle, because he's got servers, like this, we're gonna probably run in a deficit on that.
No, we're not. We'll come out ahead by about $3,000 to $5,000, depending on the bar.
Are you relying on the bar?
The bar will cover itself,
Mhm.
but the dinner part of it will make about $3,000, $3,000 to $4,000.
Yeah, that's the part I'm missing, how one could, Brian, do you have the answer to that question? Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying we should have, if we're going to have a meeting after August 3rd, it would be helpful to have a costing of everything, so that we can see the money aspect, and B, who's doing what. And I think a meeting in August at some point would be good.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
And the price for the murder mystery dinner again is
85, I heard.
$85 for that. So that's why, so we're gonna make a good price on the dinner because Chez Michelle is only charging us.
No, 55. He's charging
Yeah.
55 per meal.
Township pays for half of the entertainment. They pay for the bartenders. That's where we're making our money, is we're only doing half the cost.
Yeah, okay, so that's part of the pricing proposal
Yeah.
that's missing in my, yeah. So,
I did
yeah.
bring up that.
yeah, so if you could help, if you could for that meeting, Debbie, if you could prepare like a pro forma of what.
Already done. I'm just waiting for the murder mystery guy to come, so I have the rest of the details, and I will call a meeting.
No, what I'm asking you to do, Pat, or Deb, is to provide what you think the pro forma in profit and loss would be. So in other words, here are all the costs, here's the revenue, here's the split, and then, what our expected returns will
I
be.
believe I did that at the first meeting after the Small House Festival, but I'll go back and check it.
Yeah, well, I don't personally have any recollection of what that is, other than we agreed to $55 for the meal.
That's on the minutes from the last meeting.
I know it is, so that's why I can recall it.
All right.
Yeah. Per?
We have a lot riding on this murder mystery, and I wish it to go only well. But is there a contingency factor involved here, such as we have a pullout date? Should we not sell enough tickets to cover the cost for, I'm sure Michelle has a minimum order required. The entertainers, they have a fixed cost. What if we arrive a week or so before the event and we find we've only sold half the tickets, but we've committed now to the food?
You can cancel any caterer up to 10, 15 days before an event. And Chez Michelle is the same.
So that contract you wrote has that kind of provision in it with him?
Have a contract with them.
Sorry?
We don't have a contract with them, but
So what is the $55 agreement then?
I believe I provided it last week, the last meeting, and I don't have it right at my fingertips.
No, you had spoken about it, Debbie.
I think I provided the menu, but it's for a 4-course meal, 3-course meal. I don't have it right at my fingertips. I can send that out to you again. There were servers involved in it.
The servers are extra in over the $55.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm really concerned about, just to Per's point, and what is our exposure on this? So it's not a contract. You just verbally agreed that we're going to have that dinner with them. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it in writing, just
Yep.
the things that it gave me last time, but it is not a contract. I wish we had have discussed this at the meeting last month when I brought it up.
Why do you wish we had discussed it more at that time?
Well, just because everything's going ahead now, the township has all the information. They're getting ready to start advertising, put it on the radio. And if you're having doubts now, it would have been better coming up a month ago before we went ahead.
Okay, Debbie, this is not doubts. It's trying to understand what it is we're getting.
All right.
And what the risks are. And I think that's a fair question to ask anybody.
Oh,
So just so you understand what my point of asking this is all related to what are our expectations, what are our obligations, and we don't want to expose ourselves to excessive costs.
absolutely. I don't want that either.
And you know, if we had understood it properly the last time, I guess we could have explored it at that time. But anyway, go ahead,
In
Perry.
the beginning, the subcommittee was appointed with Linda and me, and we went to the Small House Festival meetings, and we've been reporting back as we've had a meeting. And I didn't realize that the rest of you weren't as up to date as what we are.
Yeah, I think that's perhaps, you know it because you've obviously worked on
And
it. But,
some of our
yeah.
meetings have been canceled a couple of times, haven't they, Debbie?
So anyway, the long and short, really, Debbie, is the point that we would just all like to know as it's coming up, and you know, yeah, okay, thank you, Perry.
So if we had had a written quotation from Chez Michelle, we would have perhaps been able to address some of these issues earlier. Now, just having a verbal, it's coming up perhaps a little late.
Okay.
I thought I gave you the written one last month, but that's okay. I can do it again.
Tom Caswell is not there. Sorry.
Jeremy?
You're the other Jeremy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I bet you don't
okay.
like that, eh?
That's okay. I can be anything you want me to be. Just don't, whatever. Here's the deal. I'm excited about this murder mystery thing. I think that if I read the minutes properly from the last meeting, maybe some of these things were discussed, but I unfortunately missed the meeting. There's opportunities when you're hosting an event like this to make some additional funds with, let's say, door prizes and ticket sales or 50-50 or something like that. And I think that the committee will be able to bring up those ideas when they get together the next time. The thing that I would like to hear, is this part of the Arts Festival? Is this happening in October?
It's the Small House Festival. We have an event happening in October and one happening in November. And it's all
Yeah,
the
but specifically this murder mystery that we're talking about, right? So when's that happening?
in October, October 22nd.
October 22. Okay, well, I am personally excited and want to start churning publicity about it because that's coming up real fast.
Well, yeah, but in effect, really, all of the publicity and everything, it's all being done through the Small Halls Festival. That's how tickets are being sold. That there's an organization that's doing this, even though it's not on the same weekend, it's happening over a couple of months. But the Small Halls Festival group, whoever that may be, is actually doing all of the advertising, the ticket sales. That's how it's all being done, unless I'm totally out to lunch here.
No, you're right, Linda. Lily and Amanda look after it from the town.
Mhm.
They do everything, but yes, we'll be blasting it on our Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
and your webpage maybe.
And that's something that, you know, we can build up some momentum by saying, stay tuned or something.
I already know of 80 tickets that are spoken for and it's not even advertised yet. So I think it'll be a huge
Well,
success.
that's fantastic because what you can only hold like 125 or something like that, right, in the hall?
150. But again, I'll know
Right.
better after they come and show me how the optimal setup is.
Okay, good
Thanks.
stuff.
Okay, thank you. So Brian?
I was just going to say, Debbie has done a fair bit of work on this. And just to quote the minutes that we approved from the last meeting, moved by Linda Coulter, seconded by Tom Caswell, be it resolved that the Creemore Station on the Green Board hereby accept the proposal for catering submitted by Shay Michelle for $55 a person and 3 servers at $25 an hour each. Motion carried. We got information at the last meeting and we passed a motion on it. We are going forward. I think we need a meeting early August sometime, and we need a costing of everything so that we have the full picture of what is happening. And Pear's point is a good one. If we need to bail at some point, and I'm thinking, who knows about the virus in the fall? They're saying, you know, at the end of the summer, there's going to be another wave. If things go back the way they were, we may have to just cancel the event altogether. So regardless, or we may wish to cancel because we're not selling enough tickets or for whatever reason, we need to know that as well. But I think going forward, I think we need to get behind this and get it going. And at the end of the day, make some money out of it.
Good. Okay, so that's a great way to leave that then, Brian. So any other comments to add to that, Brian's? Yes, Linda?
I was just curious, with events that are being held indoors, and you know, food and things like this, is the township dealing with it such that people who come to an event like that, are they required to have proof of vaccination?
No,
Is anything happening like that at all?
no,
Oh,
all the
okay.
restrictions everywhere have been lifted.
They've all been lifted. And so even though it's an event that somebody else is hosting, you can't, because you can make your own rules. So I was just curious as to whether the township was doing that.
You would have trouble making your own rules now.
No, I don't mean us. I just meant the township as such. They're not doing that.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
township will call that. Yeah, so I think we'll fall in the township's requirements.
That's right. So we'll be going with their rules, obviously. Okay, thank you.
Per?
I have to go. I beg your leave. Nice to see you all. And Patty, you look good from having had COVID. Nice to see you back.
Bye, Pierre.
Bear. Thanks a lot for attending.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's great. And yeah, I think that's a good conclusion. We're looking forward to. So, did you set a date for or set up the team that's meeting on this subcommittee that's going to be held for the small halls?
Well, Linda and I are already the subcommittee.
Okay, was there anybody else being invited to join that, is what I'm asking?
Anybody else being invited to join what?
Okay, I've got the subcommittee that's being, you and Linda. Is there anybody else that would like to join that subcommittee to discuss the event and plan it and cost it and
Well,
provide?
Debbie was saying that she wants to host a meeting after the 3rd, and she wants a meeting basically with the board at that point to know what we have to do. So that's the whole board.
Oh, like
Yeah,
a special board meeting is what you want?
special board meeting is what
Oh,
Debbie, I'm sure,
I
was
didn't
talking about.
understand. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, so then that way, because then we'll know what this person has said after she sees him or her on August 3rd.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you. So that we'll leave that for you two to decide the date then, and advise us for that group meeting, right? Okay. Good. All right. So number 8. Then let's move on. Building landscaping. I think the item is. I think it's redundant here, 8.1, so we don't need to, I think, address that right now.
You steal my gardener.
Sorry?
You asked me to recommend my gardener, and all of a sudden he's no longer working here.
No longer working at your place?
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
Really?
Last time I ever do that.
well, he's not working for us at the moment either, is he?
No, he did a couple of jobs for us, like a couple of,
That's it.
yeah, but that was it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't steal him, Patty, no problem.
Well, that's okay. We had a difference of opinion and we agreed to, but you've met him now, so you know who you're dealing with, and he's on his knees and does good work and charges fairly.
Yeah, he does.
That's enough.
Yeah. Debbie?
Can I just bring up one other thing under the rentals? Village on the Green is currently paying me $12 an hour for Ivy's time at the station. She's spending about 30 to 35 hours a week there, which is getting quite hefty in price. I'm looking at maybe a weekly rate for them, and I want to know how you guys feel and how much you think we should charge. Like right now, it works out to about $330 some a week. And I'm thinking maybe around 200.
That's 800 a month. That's still pretty
Cheap
expensive.
rent.
I think it's
How much space is she taking actually, Debbie?
that varies. Sometimes she's in this week she's in the vestibule in the corner. Some days she's in the big room in a corner. All she takes is a table. Other days she's in the back room in a corner. Like it varies.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what's going on in the station.
Can I suggest you should check to see what this retail space rents out for on square footage basis in Creemore?
I get it, and I totally understand that, but she doesn't even have a legitimate office. She's got a table, that's it. And we have to move that table depending on what's going on. And it is Village Green, which is part of us, but not part of us at the same time. So I think we should kind of, and they pay full rates for any time they rent it. They pay full rates for their board meetings. And I just think 30 hours, 35
How
hours.
big is the table? Is what I'm asking. How big is this table?
Square table.
Little square.
Okay, so what's that in Creemore terms on square footage rent?
I have no idea.
I guess
Or maybe-
folks would tell you. Why don't you call them?
16 square feet.
16 square feet at whatever the going rate for commercial space in Creemore. That's kind of like, and you can get that information if you give Bunny Boak a call.
I think that's a good idea because it makes a fair case for why we charge and that it's very reasonable for them and we can adjust it accordingly. So I wonder where we can get that BIA cost perhaps could help us with that. Square foot cost.
What is she paying currently, Debbie?
They're paying $12 an hour.
An hour.
Do we
For
have-
8 hours a day?
And, but hold on, we give local groups a 15% discount. So it would be 10 something an hour, 10.80 an hour.
And is that for 8 hours?
Some days it's 6 hours, some days, but it works out to 25 to 30 hours, 35 hours a week.
Well, that's a very good suggestion that you want to give them a bit of a break. And they're not getting the local rate quoted then, Debbie? They're paying the full rate then, is what you're saying?
$12 minus 15%.
Oh, you're giving them 15% now. Okay.
It's a local group. Well, they are a local group.
So now we want a volume discount basically. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Brian, did you have any other thoughts around this?
Well, you mentioned $200 a week. We're currently paying about $350 a week for a table. You could propose $250 a week. That's $1,000 a month. I don't know. Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds reasonable to me.
Sounds good to me.
Shall we vote on it?
So what are we going to vote? That you're going to propose the rate to be $1,000 a month?
A flat rate of $1,000 a month for flex time.
Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to second that then? Was that what we have to do?
Brian proposes the
Just a
price.
Just a
I
second.
second it.
Yeah, just a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
just
that's
a
one.
second there. So, Sarah, do we need a motion on this?
I would, yes. Also, you have indicated that it's a flat rate for the Village Green. I would suggest perhaps putting in that it's for staff offices, or is that for their other events as well? So maybe some clarification on that.
We do need to clarify it because otherwise they'll be sneaking in all their meetings and everything else under that.
Yeah, good point.
That's what my concern was actually. I think that we should be very specific in this and then just say that it is for the office use for the manager. And it's very, very specific somehow and just, not for any other meetings, not for anything else, somehow make it very
You
specific.
can just say for Ivy's time in the building.
And we could be sure that we can provide that, right, without question. In other words, if all of a sudden somebody rents the hall, that might pose you a problem, Debbie, because now you have to.
No, Ivy and I work so closely together, and what happens, Imaginarium's in this week and Tai Chi. So I have Imaginarium switching back and forth to give Tai Chi their room. And when they're both in the building, Ivy's in the vestibule. So she's just in the front hallway behind the door with the plug. That's it. And she's happy.
Okay. Yeah, Brian?
Add to the motion that it's, we're saying 250 a week, that's $50 a day to a maximum of 8 hours. As you said, her time varies, but I think we should limit it to no more than 8 hours. If they want to use it less, that's up to them. But it would be on a month, it would be $1,000 a month. And if they missed a day, we would value a day at $50. So that could be deducted off whatever, if we need to figure something like that out.
So I think
Can we refer to it as a desk fee?
Sorry, I have in the original motion $1,000 flat fee per month, not speaking per days. Did you want to add an 8-hour limit or Monday to Friday? Did you want it $250 a week?
Hold on.
So I think we need to clarify this motion.
You know, I would say we need to indicate it's a Monday to Friday thing, and then up to a maximum of 8 hours per day. And that there'd be a per diem rate of $50. We could say that the per diem rate is $50, but it's rented on a monthly basis for $1,000 a month. So I don't know how you word that.
Just like you did. I think sounds good.
Linda, do you have a comment on that?
Well, no, I just have, I'm running very close to when I have to leave the meeting too. I'm just telling you that I'm going to have to leave very shortly.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's just closing now.
yeah, so just, you know,
Motions.
when I'm gone, that's why I have to go. All right, I have somewhere I have to be today.
Okay.
Could we just hear that final resolution and then we can take a vote? Brian's made it, what about statutory holidays and, no, I'm just kidding.
Ah,
Ron, do you want to come and take this?
And also like to make a motion after we've done this, well, just Sarah's doing that,
To listen to him.
is to work on a in-person meeting for the next one. Linda, you'll be ready, are you, for the next meeting, do you think?
When would it be?
Well, it'll be August.
Because I have a feeling we won't be able to have it in the station. 1, 2, 3, the 18th.
Third Thursday?
Oh, we're lucky. Yes, we could. The week before, the week after, it's full.
Can you just book that in then, please, Debbie? All right, thanks, Sarah.
So this is what I have. Propose a rate to the Village Green from Monday to Friday for a maximum of 8 hours per day on a per diem cost of $50 on a monthly basis for the use by the Village Green manager to use as office/desk space.
Okay, but I have one question on that. If she's only in there, some days she's only in there 4 hours, not 8 hours. Are we going to charge for that? The per diem, whatever, like,
I think that's what the motion calls for, yes,
all right,
is that it would be a more of a flat fee.
okay.
Flat fee. That's a discounted flat fee.
Yes, well, that was the point, Jeremy, that we're currently charging them like $350 a week.
Mhm.
And we're reducing it to $250 and we're giving them up to 8 hours. So it's their choice whether they want to use the full 8 hours or not, but they're getting the big discount of over $100 discount or more.
Yeah. So I think that's another word to put in there, Debbie, when you're proposing that. You could read the motion and I think add a discounted rate. We should probably put that in a favorably discounted rate.
Does someone want to write this up for Stuart and send it to him? I prefer it not be me.
Well,
So this is-
you're the rental agent, right?
Right, but, okay, I'll do it.
So
Well,
this
you
is
don't
my-
have to write it up, Debbie. That's the write-up. You've got it right here. A motion was put forward and agreed by the board, and here it is. That's why we're trying to take great care in, phrasing it so that it's friendly on the one hand, but that it's got a substance to it.
All right.
Okay? Thank you. So,
So something to this effect, propose a discounted rate to the Village Green for the rental, Monday to Friday, for a max of 8 hours per diem, cost of $50 on a monthly basis for the use by the Village Green manager to use as office/desk space.
$50 per diem, not $50 per month, right?
Yeah, I have $50 per diem on a per diem cost of $50 on a monthly basis.
yeah. Right. I think that says it all. Good. Okay, so the motion is on the floor. So all in favor? Perfect. Unanimous, again.
I'm going now. Sorry. Bye-bye. It's almost over. Bye.
Yeah.
Hi, Linda.
Bye, Linda. Okay, good. So, yeah. I guess that concludes our meeting. And August 18th is the new date for next month meeting, hopefully in person. And I think we had to make a resolution of that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that we meet in person. I'd like to move for next meeting be live at the station. I propose that. Second, Debbie. All in favor? Everybody. Tom, I think his hand was up even though we can't see it. Okay, great, thank you. And so I think with that, then we can adjourn. I'd just like to say thank you again, Sarah, for your great help this morning. And Lexi, hope we haven't scared you off, that you will come back next time to meet us. So we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Can I get a mover and seconder to adjourn, sorry. Jeremy and
Yeah.
Brian.
By the way, everybody, Sarah was instrumental to me in doing a flash drive for me with all the meetings of the minutes since 2010. So thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll look forward to seeing you. And hopefully Patty will be able to continue to join us. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. I'll try and stay away from COVID.
Yes.
Hope
Thanks,
you're all
everyone.
well. But bye now. See you in
Bye.
August.
Bye.
Bye.
We're leaving you.